It's another game day episode of Run It Back. The 18th ranked UConn men's basketball team plays at Creighton tonight. They kept the momentum rolling and exercised one demon last week, beating Villanova, then went on the road and took care of business at Georgetown. Now on to Omaha to face the Creighton Blue Jays, who have won all 4 meetings between these two teams. I'm Noam, joined by my co-host Jacob Sondik, and our guest today is Josh Schlactus. We'll start with Creighton, then move to talking briefly about Nova and Georgetown and preview the Big East tournament. Now, last time out, Creighton beat UConn at the XL Center 59-55. Ryan Hawkins poured in 23 points to lead the way. But with a win tonight, UConn could clinch the 3 seed. UConn would clinch the 3 seed in the Big East tournament and play at 9:30 p.m. on the opening night of the Big East tournament for seeds 1 through 5 Thursday night. So let's turn to tonight. Josh, we'll start with you. What's your outlook for the game?
Well, the biggest story about this game, at least on the Creighton side, is that there's no Ryan Nembhard. The likely Big East Freshman of the Year candidate is out for the rest of the season with a wrist injury. And so UConn definitely caught a little bit of a break there. But, even with Ryan Nembhard, I think UConn has a really good shot in this game. There's a lot of emotion going in. UConn's 0-4 in these games. They know they need to break this barrier. And after breaking the Villanova barrier, I feel like they're on this bit of a trend. They're going to, keep beating teams that they know that they have to beat. And hopefully that can extend to the tournament. But this Creighton team is going to be a fun game. Without Ryan Nembhard, it's going to be a little bit better for UConn, but it's definitely going to be fun. I think UConn wins it.
Sondik?
Yeah, I echo that. Obviously, Nembhard, he didn't do that much last time we played, but him at home would have been a different beast. And UConn shot under 30% last time these two teams played, and they were still in it. And that's what's crazy about this team. They played terrible, and they're in all of these games. So I think UConn's a way better team than they were on February 1st. I like that this game is happening, and they have to play a team that's within their not ranking, but like skill level. I mean, Creighton's had UConn's number, so I think this game is another yardstick, the second of 2 demons I talked about. And it's a hostile environment. They got $1 beers going in Omaha, so UConn's gonna need to lock in and tune out that drunk Nebraska crowd.
Yeah, let's not forget about Ryan Hawkins too, possible Big East first team player. I forgot to mention that, but he very easily could make that first team come season's end.
Yeah, it's Ryan Hawkins, I think 5th or 6th year in basketball. He transferred from D2. But Sondik, like you said, the Chi Health Center in Omaha, 17,000 seat arena. That's like a professional arena. The crowd's going to be rowdy. UConn will have to lock in. One player I'm looking forward to lock in is Jordan Hawkins. 11 points last time out against Georgetown. He played 21 really strong minutes. Did have a head injury towards the end of the game. Coach said it wasn't a concussion, and he practiced yesterday, and he should be good to go. So I want to set a line for you guys at 21 and a half minutes. Do you think Jordan Hawkins is playing over that tonight or under that? And this time we'll start with you, Sondik.
With foul trouble, I think he goes over that. I don't know how the extent of his injury. I would love to see him play more than that. But with Andre Jackson foul trouble, he definitely could hit that over. I'm going to go slightly under. I think he could be 16 to 18 range. He's going to get big minutes. And the step we've seen from him throughout the season, I mean, it's tremendous. I was watching Georgetown. I was thinking in my head, like, if he can be that spark off the bench or just put in quality minutes, take it strong to the rack, hit the threes, this makes UConn super dangerous. So I'll go slightly under, but with foul trouble, and we know this team loves to get into foul trouble, I don't see why he doesn't go over that. I just don't. He's been playing out of his mind.
Yeah, I'm taking the over. Jordan Hawkins has really turned the tide this season. And obviously from the start, he's been a great scorer. But what he's really kind of fixed are those dumb freshman mistakes that we saw at the beginning of the season in the Auburn game after the first overtime, situations like that. And while I don't love him handling the ball a ton, I feel a lot more comfortable with him doing it now than earlier. And I think what that does for him is it allows him to get more opportunities to score, which he has clearly shown he is capable of doing at a high level. Hawkins is an absolute stud. I think that, Sondik, you make a good point. UConn gets into foul trouble, and their first guy off the bench, you could argue it's Polley, but I think it's going to become Hawkins pretty soon. And I think that Jordan Hawkins just adds that versatility on the wing. He can cut into the lane, drive to the hoop. He can shoot threes, and he can take mid-range shots. He's a true 3-level scorer, and he's someone the Huskies need to perform at a high level in order to be the team that they know they can be.
So I set the line at 21.5. I'm going to go over. I think he's going to play 22 to 24. Hurley talked after the Georgetown game about how Pauly and Hawkins are really crucial to this team because the one big question mark is, do they have enough firepower on the perimeter? Against Georgetown, 22 combined points from those two. Yes, they had enough firepower. Yes, the Huskies won. Yes, the Huskies put up 86 points. They're going to be really hard to do. Really hard to beat if they do that. All right, looking back at Villanova, that was a game where the XO Center was rocking. Probably the most fun game I've ever been to. We stormed the court, lost our voices. It was wild. Well, let's talk a little bit about the game. UConn won 71-69. It was, one of their best performances of the year, and they beat one of the best teams in the country. Either of you can jump in on this. Maybe Josh, we'll go to you.
Yeah, I mean, that was a game full of grit, hard work on the defensive end against guys like Colin Gillespie, who have been lighting up the Big East. Adama played a dominant game down low, but I think we all know the story of that game was RJ Cole, and he really just showed that he can be a true leader for this team. In clutch time, he came away with 4 elite plays in a row. A good opening shot that he was able to kind of open up the floor for Pauly, and then the turnover that he caused on Gillespie with the jump ball, the shot, and the charge. It was really special to see. RJ Cole's a superstar in the Big East, and he's someone that we're going to love to have. And this Villanova game was just so fun to watch. Just an incredible atmosphere.
Yeah, it was kind of surreal because just watching the last handful of years, and Nova was just like the fact that we played was a joke. I mean, they were 10 levels above where we were at, and UConn just winning, especially in the fashion they did. Down 4 at 20 seconds, I audibly said out loud, I was like, oh, they own us. Like, this is annoying. Like, I'm sick of this. Because obviously Samuels hit the 3, and when you go down 4 with little time left, Villanova makes their free throws better than anyone in the country. But Daniels missed the free throw. Pauly hit the shot. And yeah, Schlactus said it. RJ Cole is that guy. He's cold-blooded. The charges, we've seen him all year against like team when it didn't matter as much. Then it mattered. It mattered a lot. And the way this team stepped up after the head of the snake, as Cole said about Hurley, got tossed over. I'll never get over that call by James Breeding, but Kamani Young, RJ Cole, they made a statement to the nation. It was the biggest game in college basketball that night. It was the most watched Big East game in years. So it was awesome. I'm happy for the team. I'm happy for those guys. It was a long time coming for sure.
And then they moved on to Sunday, potential trap game at Georgetown. I was there. Huskies played a really good first half, built a big lead. Their offense was as good as I've seen all year. Now, granted, Georgetown is terrible. Still win this in the conference, 0-17, 18 losses in a row. And just a few minutes ago, Georgetown said, yes, Patrick Ewing is still our head coach. He's coming back. Now, granted, he could get fired if a lot of guys leave in the transfer portal, but his buyout is huge. He just signed that contract extension. Georgetown is in a messy spot, but UConn comes away with an 86-77 win. RJ Cole caught fire in the middle of the second half, 18 points overall. Like I talked about, Hawkins and Pauly, 11 points apiece. And how about that Jordan Hawkins dunk, catching a body? Aminu Muhammad got posterized. I mean, that play was right in front of me. I was sitting courtside on the baseline. I saw Hawkins turn the corner, come down the lane, and boom, he just jammed it right on Muhammad. That was, I think, best dunk of the season for UConn so far. We're not going to talk too much about that game. Huskies defense wasn't great. The bench guys, particularly Diggins and Samson Johnson, came in and kind of stunk it up in the final couple minutes. Hurley actually had to put RJ Cole back in, which he definitely did not want to do. But the Huskies got away with a win. They didn't fall to that trap game. Probably not a great win for their metrics, but moving on to Creighton tonight. So we're going to talk quickly about Big East tournament. Obviously, seeding has been a big talk. UConn, if they win tonight, will be the 3 seed. If they lose, they'll be tied with Creighton. So that leaves it up to Sunday, last game of the regular season. If UConn beats DePaul and Creighton loses to Seton Hall, then UConn would be the 3 seed. If UConn loses to DePaul or beats them and Creighton also wins, then UConn would be the 4 seed. So who would you guys prefer to play or prefer not to play at Madison Square Garden next week? Sondik, we'll start with you.
I don't want any part of Marquette or St. John's for a third time. It's awesome sweeping teams the regular season, and I think UConn's better than both those teams, but something about playing a team 3 times just doesn't sit right with me. And both teams have star power. Marquette with Justin Lewis, he's been outstanding this year. And St. John's has the highest, they have the best NBA prospect in the conference in Julian Champagny. And UConn dodged a bullet not facing Posh last time when they played at MSG. So I don't want those teams. March is where stars are born, and it would not shock me at all if Julian Champagny decided to have 35 and they could combine for 60, and UConn has a bad shooting night and they lose a home game at MSG, because it's still a home game. I don't care where St. John's is, who we're playing, even if it's St. John's. But I want the rematch with Xavier. I stand by the fact that UConn is a better team than them, and having split the series, I'm happy they salvaged the second one. But I want the rubber match. It doesn't sit well with me that we split with them. I want to win the series.
And Josh, you'll be there on the ground covering for UCTV. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know, Jacob, how you skipped over Seton Hall as a team you don't want to see. I mean, I like Marquette. They're a good team. They're young, though, and they were peaking pretty much right until UConn beat them. I don't know if they're going to get to that level again this season. They're still a very good team, but I think that that's probably the peak of where they'll be. St. John's, they don't have a lot around Julian Champagny. And while obviously I don't like playing teams 3 times in a row, those teams, I'd much rather see those teams for the third time than see Seton Hall. And right now it's looking like we're going to see Seton Hall, because if UConn does get this 3 seed, Seton Hall is pretty much a lock for the 6. And with Jared Roden averaging 16 points a game, with Bryce Aiken's status being unknown but not out of the question for his return, with Kaderi Richmond just killing us, Obiagu and Yetna being elite down low, Seton Hall is a team I'm legitimately scared of coming Big East tournament time. I think UConn's a better team than them. I think UConn does most things better than them. But, if you're talking about those teams that you don't want to face, that's the one for me. And I wouldn't say I'd love to see Xavier again. I'll say that. I agree with you there. I would love to see Xavier again for a third matchup. But, yeah.
To me, when you think March basketball, there's no team you really want to see. In the Big East, the 2 teams that I would feel like, all right, this is going to be a sure win are Butler and Georgetown.
Yeah.
But when you got teams like Xavier and Seton Hall and Marquette, particularly Xavier and Seton Hall, those 2 coaches are coaching for their head coaching roles at their school. Travis Steele and Kevin Willard, the pressure is on them. And then you have a team like DePaul, where Javon Freeman Liberty just dropped 39 points in a win over St. John's. You have a team like Marquette, who you guys talked about, a team like St. John's, who plays in the Garden. There's no team in the Big East that I say, all right, give me that team. I want to play them. It's going to be a dogfight, whoever you play, and that's what's so great about the Big East Conference. So give me whoever. Give me Villanova in the semifinals. Give me Providence in the semi. Like, obviously, UConn can't play Providence in the semifinals. Give me Marquette. Give me anybody. Let's see how UConn matches up. And tonight will be a good test, because Creighton is one of those teams that's, 1 seed below UConn at the moment, but right around where they are in terms of record, in terms of strength of schedule, quality wins, stuff like that. So tonight will be a good litmus test. All right, guys, that's all we got for this episode. UConn plays at Creighton tonight, 8:30 p.m. FS1. Should be a fun one. UConn wins, they'll lock up the 3 seed in the Big East tournament, and then we'll talk to you later in the week to preview DePaul for Senior Day at Gamble Pavilion. Final thoughts, anyone?
Yeah, I appreciate you guys for having me. It's always good to talk Big East basketball here, especially with the tournament coming up. Always a great one.
And
I want Providence. That's my final.
I want Providence too. Providence in the finals would be by far the best outcome for this tournament.
Providence UConn in the finals would be actually like mayhem. Anyways, Josh, if UConn wins tonight, we'll have to have you on later in the week. Similar vibes if we win. So that's all we got for tonight. For Josh Schlactus, Jacob Sondik, I'm Noam. Thanks for tuning in to Run It Back. We'll see you next episode.